Welcome to Deep Blue. It's a very beautiful session, Deep Blue. For those of you, some of you have experienced it before. Put your hand up if you, oh God, what a synchronicity. I did not plan that, I swear. That just happened to be on my desk. I think this is a terrible, I think I unconsciously named the session. Speaking of like trying to make yourself so conscious, I unconsciously named the session Deep Blue a few years ago before I even got that. Anyway, put your hand up if you have a sense that the in utero world has been important in unraveling your trauma. Oh, put your hand up so I can see. So that's all of you, Shani, not you, Karen, not you, and Simone, not you.
Sorry, Safa, I had some, I have to change the place because I can't hear you down here. I don't have any, how are you saying, connection. What did you say? What was the question?
Please put your hand up if you have a sense that your in utero experience has relevance to your trauma healing journey.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I couldn't hear you earlier.
Does anyone feel they either the utero world was fine, or please check the background noise that you may have going on. So does anyone feel like they don't, the in utero world is just not relevant to them? Or they're not really completely unsure what they even might have felt like or what was going on for them in utero? It's okay, because sometimes you don't really know. You all have a sense. Okay, so we're going to go around the group. Once Simone settled down. Please settle down, Simone. I'm getting what's that, motion sickness? I'm getting motion sickness just watching you. There, you stop traveling. I want to do a quick round because we need to crack on with this session. What do you feel you have, what emotion? And I'm asking for the emotion because when we do healing at an emotional level, we let ourselves get emotional. That's when we really heal, yeah? We can do loads of structural work, loads of energetic work, and I'm telling you guys now that the real transformation is when we do the emotional work and we work on the emotional body, because that gives us access to our heart. That's where everything is. What emotion you can name, say, 1, 2, or 3 emotions, whatever comes to you, do you feel like you really need to get to the bottom of, and you feel it is related to your in utero watery world? Pat, can we start with you? I'm going to go in order.
Fear.
Fear.
Yeah, I think yeah, I think it's a big one. As of, should I just name the emotion?
Just name the emotions.
Yeah, I think the biggest is fear and to a certain extent shock. So even the being frozen and cut off to emotions.
Good, good. Well done. Shani.
It's hard to find the emotions because I'm sort of thinking about what my mum would have gone through when she was pregnant with me, and I know she was young and kind of rejected as well. So the word that comes to me is shame, and I'm trying to see how that also relates to me as well. But I do think that shame is one of the first things. That's the first word that came to my mind.
This is really important. Thank you for sharing. And we're diving in right in the deep end, fear and shame, right?
Definitely fear as well. That's like for sure, yeah.
And you feel it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fear, yes. Shame, I think it's more of an undercurrent that I feel that I know it's not mine.
Isley?
Yeah, for me, it's definitely fear, insecurity. That's what I feel.
Yeah. And given everything that was going on in your household, which you can feel energetically when you were there, you can see why there was that fear and uncertainty, yeah? Cindy?
Fear, uncertainty, and insecurity. So
Yes.
I'm right there with everyone.
Yeah. Strengthening that is going to strengthen your entire nervous and energetic system, because there's a frailty. Do you know that word frail? There's a frailty there, right? That stems from in utero. So when you, I'll explain why I'm mentioning it when we go in. Nicole?
I pretty much had the echo as well. It's fear and insecurity.
Yeah. Look how vulnerable we are as like little babies. We're not babies yet. We're just fetus. Simone?
I feel that the shame and guilt is deep connected in my path, or it was, or it still is, or I recognize it's a very deep underlined connection that I brought with, or my mother as well brought with. So I feel also the uncertainty, the fear. Yeah.
Shame and yes. Shame, guilt, fear, uncertainty. Kind of deep, this is the deep stuff that we're feeling as human beings. And sometimes it's very difficult to put words to it. And then you realize, okay, this has actually been reverberating within me since I was a fetus developing. I wasn't even, my brain hadn't even fully formed. My foundation is built on fear and uncertainty and shame. It's not a strong enough foundation to carry us through our adult lives, is it? And this is why we're here doing this work. Breon, what are your emotions?
I would definitely say grief and terror.
Yeah. When you tune into something that strong and you're saying, I've held that since I was developing in utero, the flip side of that is you also saying you kind of already knew what was waiting for you on the outside. Maybe not with your mind, but your sense, your energetic field was already aware. And it becomes aware through this environment. Oh, you're sorry, my sound isn't very good because my speaker is all the way on another planet. How's this?
So much better.
Sorry, guys. Tell me if you don't hear me properly. Okay. Yes. Karen.
Yeah, for me, it's worry, the state of my mom.
Yeah.
But I also feel a lot of love and excitement. I feel like I was welcome, but a lot of worry. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you felt welcomed, but with a lot of worry.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So when we do this powerful session, obviously you're going to be held safely in this field, and you're going to experience the in utero world in a still and a safe field. And of course, when you're holding fear and shame and guilt and worry and terror, there's a vibration. And in our day-to-day lives, there's enough going on. We don't notice these vibrations necessarily, right? But now that you're going to be accessing a field that is still, you're going to feel that vibration. If you're doing this work with sincerity for yourself, you're going to feel that vibration much more prominently. Yeah. It can be very tempting to do what you've always done, which is possibly to shut down, dissociate, start rationalizing what it is, freak out. I want you to see if you can do two things. If you can feel deeper into what you're feeling as an emotion, when you're feeling fear, imagine, there's a freeze response, there's a get me out of here response. Yes, we can go through the fight or flight, but if you're really feeling into the depths of fear, you're going to find your medicine there. Where fear doesn't stop you in your tracks, it takes you deeper. But you've got to get past that fight flight barrier, yeah? So you'll know whether you're ready and you feel safe enough because of your body response, whether you can go there. And if you feel like, okay, you know what, I just genuinely can't, like I just need to work with the fear and tend to the fear, then what you're doing is you're trying to provide the medicine for the fear. And the reason why I'm explaining this to you is because this is part of learning how to heal yourself. You have to find the resonance that matches the resonance of the fear, because Brion's terror is not the same as Pat's fear. Pat's fear is not the same as Nicole's fear. They have unique vibrations, right? They are unique callings to love. And the only person that can create the love that matches the fear is the person that's willing to feel what that exact resonance is calling for. Yeah. That person has, of course, I'm here to do it, but that person ultimately has to be you. Otherwise, every time we feel something, we become like babies, like look for someone else to soothe us. And we already know this from our history. Nobody soothes us as deeply as we can soothe ourselves. They can say anything in the world to us. They can rock us to sleep. And it still will not fill that hole, because only we can do that for ourselves. Yeah. And that's what we then do to each other. During this process, allow any emotions to come up. Just encourage, invite them. If you feel you don't feel an emotion strongly, it's okay, because often when we do this in utero work, the emotions are very hard to find. They're very elusive, right? So just go with it. Whatever is happening, go with it. We'll have a little session at the end, time at the end of the session to process. And then finally, if we do get to the point and Spirit decides that you guys are ready to be crowned and to be birthed, we're going to go through the birthing process, through the birth canal. And the birth canal, it can be quite scary. There's a lot of uncertainty. And when we meet uncertainty, often we're meeting our mother's uncertainty that's imprinted upon us, right? Like mum didn't know how long this process of labor is going to take. And some of you in here have had children. You know how real it is to be in labor, right? So it's no different for your mums. So I want you to bring the same compassion to that uncertainty, yeah? Does anyone have questions before we start, or want to mention anything, or?
Do we get comfortable? How do we do this, Simone or Safa? Sorry. Are we laying down? Are we sitting up?
You want to lie down. You want to be really cozy.
Okay.
You're right there, Pat. If we go in, this is important. If we go into a healing session, right? And we're already evoking, we're already emotional, it's okay. But if we go in and we're expecting the worst of ourselves, we're going to create that If we go in, I'm expecting to feel my mum's terror and my shock and everything, and my dad's rejection of me, and my distorted little body in utero, and my self-hatred. I'm expecting to feel that, and that's where you're setting your benchmark. Well, you're the creator. That's what you're going to feel. If you're going in going, I've got loads of stuff to feel, I'm going to feel it, but I know I am the medicine for this. Then when you come across it, you can lead with love. Okay? Shani, are you going to lie down? Karen, you going to lie down? I don't know if you were upright in utero. What you might like to do is start in a fetal position and if we go through an unwinding, a fascial unwinding, you might want to notice how your body unwinds, notice how your body moves. You may not be still for this session. All right, roomies, enjoy the ride. Just gently breathing, relaxing, and softening in your body. And just feeling into the space around you, the watery world around you. What's above your head and what's below you. And get a sense and maybe an image of your womb, the womb that you're in that has nurtured you and that has grown, developed you. And just see if your senses will reach out around you. Notice how rich this womb is. It's rich with information, actually, about your life, about your history, about what's to come. See if you can sense and feel into the richness, because right now it's all there. And you're going to choose what you take with you and what you birth. You're going to choose what you leave behind. You choose through your vibration, not your mind, but your heart. Pay attention to how your spine feels and moves and how your brain feels and moves. We've now accessed the fetal spine. You might feel your brainstem movement activity, and also down the sacrum. So just notice what you're actually feeling in your spine right now. This is a very early childhood imprinted spine that's moving. Notice how it moves. The uncertainty is there, the fear is there, the stuckness is there. See if you're sensing that in your own system. When you find it, you can work with it. And now we're going to be soothing this very subtle vibration in the spine, and we're going to be bringing it to stillness by reassuring this beautiful, pure, perfect little baby that it's safe and that it's welcome and that it can do this. It really can. We're going to believe in this little baby entirely. Now you should be feeling more stillness, more settled. Just notice what your unique body feels like and what it's telling you about yourself. Notice that you already have your own identity even here in the womb. You have a degree of autonomy over yourself. There, feel that in your heart. The hearts want to open. Let's make it safe enough for the hearts to open. And we're welcoming you and your life into this world. So we're working now with the heart, and just see if you can tune in and feel your own heart. That's it. Beautiful. And just softening and allowing the heart to open. There we go, to just start to open up. Notice how impressionable your little baby body is. Impress upon it just love. Now you can feel the heart field starting to spiral open. This is the beautiful heart of your little one. Feel how powerful it is, how pure it is. This little baby in utero has so much power already in its heart. Enjoy it, soak it up. And notice the contrast against the mother who's going through her huge birthing experience and maybe doesn't have her heart field this wide open yet. And we're going to get there. Notice how your gut feels your stomach. It's often where we hold the worry, the uncertainty in our gut, in our stomach. You can feel now the gut moving, especially on the right side. You can feel this is your vagus nerves toning through this experience of stillness. The fetal system starting to find stillness. See how the nausea comes up. This mother always nauseous during pregnancy, especially the early days. If you notice that's coming up for you, just breathe. It will subside. Get more connected to the sensation. Some of you have got your head in one place, your body in another place, and you're sensing without feeling the real communication of each tiny subtle vibration. Feel it. Feel it and draw the intelligence from your own body. Then just become very, very still, as still as you can. Nothing stirring. Then you can really see what moves and feel deeper into it. We are now accessing this kind of trickle of, could I be worth it? Could I be? Am I worth it? Let's amplify this, especially if you've held shame in your body, self-worth issues. This is the time now to amplify the love. Yes, you are worth it. You are everything, and you are worth it. Feel it. Throats and hearts reconnecting. Throats, hearts, and now wombs. In self-love, this is your axis. Feel your wombs, your genitals moving. All the way through your core, all the way up through your heart, into your throat. You're being attuned, just relax. And accept it and welcome it in. Your body's learning to move as a whole. Receiving back your body. Good. Beautiful. What a perfect little baby you are. See if you can get a sense of your face. Your little arms, little hands. Your hair. Still in your watery world. See yourself. And love what you see. Give the love that you wish you had received. Give it now. Devote yourself to this precious and pure aspect of you, the beginning of your life. And let your love be an outpouring. Beautiful. Well done, Woomies. Lots of light. Feel the light surrounding, cocooning you. This is the light that you are. If you feel deeply into it now, you're going to start to feel that depth of safety. Because if you can create this light, what can you not do? You'll never be scared of the dark. Keep shining. Good. Now we're going to start to come through the birth canal. We're going to start to enter the world. We're positioning head first and feel your crowns, your heads, your cranial membranes. Just feel whatever's going on in your own head. And just allow yourself to sink in to the knowing that your baby self will be birthed safely in love, and you are now the one co-creating this process. So breathe slowly and enjoy. And you can start to feel the head pressing down and telling the mother that it's ready now, it's coming through now. Take the messages that you're getting. And in this world, this depth of consciousness, this dimension, you are everything. Every subtle impression is you. So you want to become the yoni and the pelvis and give your baby self more space, then do that. Learn how to shapeshift where you need to. So you can see some of you are getting stuck. You're kind of like ramming your heads up against nothing's happening. You're not moving. So help yourself. Open up. It's all you in this depth. There, very nice. Oof. Okay, floodgates are open. Right, there we go. So now we can really feel babies coming through. And you're also the person that delivers this beautiful, pure, perfect little being. And you also are that beautiful, perfect little being. Both. There we go, beautiful. Some of you started to deliver yourselves with a kind and gentle hand, supporting the head and the shoulders. Oh, beautiful. Baby is squirming and crying, just as it should be. Feeling it, feeling its little body, its perfect little body. There we go. And just slowly delivering and just keeping hold of your perfect little baby, holding your baby in your arms. You are both now mother and baby. You can switch states between and you can feel. How's baby feeling right now? Baby's wondering, look at the way baby's staring into mother's eyes. Who is this? Is this me? Can I trust her? Will she take care of me? Let your body soften as you trust. You are now your own mother. Show your baby that it can trust. Open your heart. Open your heart means you give love. Feel the love that's present. Resonate with that. That's what it means to give love. There. If you're noticing, you're looking at your baby and you're like, what am I doing with this? What do I do with this? Go back and check in with yourself. Become the mother again. Learn how to love again. Some of you are approaching your baby with it. Intellectual curiosity. You should be drunkenly in love by now. We're merging these parts of you, baby and mother. so that you can become your own great mother. You might want to also be father. You can switch into father and you can be the father that perhaps you never had. You can hold your little baby and show that devotion and love, feel it. Try now to be the father you never had in your heart. Telling your little one that they're perfect. That you're going to keep them safe. You're never going to leave them. Then you can slowly start to feed your baby. Feeding your baby through your own system is very powerful because it's effectively you nourishing you. And then when you have a picture of the whole, you can see your mother or father within nourishing your inner child, then you can see what you are. Hold that field around the whole. Good. And then you can slowly tie or cut the umbilical cord or however you want to do it and wrap your baby up, lovely towel, lovely blanket. Notice how the baby feels. Notice how you feel in your body right now. Gratitude, perhaps. Calm. Let this feeling deepen, intensify. And start to allow yourself inside to celebrate your own life, your own existence. It's a joyful celebration. You did it. Golden light everywhere, celebrate yourself. Yes, the sun is shining. If you look in the field around you, everything's golden. Feel it. Everything you ever could want for is here right now. Open your hearts to this and believe in yourself. This field is rich with everything that you are, beyond your wildest dreams. You are. Please soak this up. This is a very, very high frequency. Please do everything you can to open up to yourself. Love now, here, and anchor this in. This resonance in your energy system is something you want to anchor in and focus so you can come back to, because this is a joyful, beautiful, safe place that you've created for yourselves and each other, because you are the ones that are changing the rest of your lives. Yes. Receive. Receive it. Some of you are still struggling. Notice if you're struggling, what's the struggle? Become aware and then laugh at yourself. And then receive again. Good. Slowly, gently, I want you to start to open your eyes and make your way back to the room. Back to the camera. Wow, did you feel the fields of gold? Kisley's like, yeah, I'm a millionaire, baby. Love that. Yeah, that was very beautiful. Okay. Well done, all of you. Did you get a sense of how you can be both the baby and both the mother and both the father and both the hand that delivers? And yes, Nicole, you're nodding. Cindy, you're nodding. What about the rest of you? Did you get a sense of that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Shani, good. I'm glad that you're nodding. You know why? Because people think that you're some kind of crazy witch or whatever when you talk about shape-shifting, but this is what it means to shapeshift. Everyone can do it. All you're doing is making a choice to feel, what's this? What is this resonance? What does mom feel like right now? What does baby feel like? Let me go back to mom. And by learning how to switch states, right, consciously, to tend to create something beautiful, to be the medicine, you are becoming a very powerful force of healing. Because when your inner child is, that fetus is like, you know, you're feeling something so deep, so terrorizing inside, and you're like, it's got to be related to my inner fetus. Breon, are you okay to come back? Breon. Oh, Breon's in very deep. Breon, sweet. When we let ourselves do that, we become self-satisfied. Yeah. Because we become the elixir of our own lives. Because we know what resonance we need from our mom, right? When we're in that space, you're like, you can feel the baby, you can feel what it's looking for, what it needs. And then you go, okay, it needs this from mom, right? I can call my mom and be like, hey mom, why weren't you a better mom? Or I could just be mother and resonate as is, right? So this is for you to take forward as we go into the inner child work. Does anyone want to say any or share anything about the experience? How are you feeling? How are you feeling?
Yes, that was crazy. That was so much. It was, I had a very, very hard time getting settled. And then so much just happened. I really hadn't experienced that kind of, what do you call it, shape-shifting, where I was basically recreating how I felt. I could feel it as I was holding myself. It was freaking intense. I'm super grateful. Okay. Something opened up in me.
Yes, the gratitude. That's why I said at the end, there's gratitude, because I could feel like you guys are dropping into gratitude now. And when one person drops into gratitude, we all start going into gratitude. Yeah. When we fall into gratitude, try your best. I know it can cause us to become very emotional and weep, and I want you to, when you find that, just like hold that still gratitude frequency, so you don't drop into grief and lower your own vibration.
Yeah, that's good advice. That's really good advice, because I'm feeling so much, but that's what it is. It's the gratitude. And to hold that is, I think, is really, really important. Thank you.
Yes, hold it, hold it. Yeah. And holding gratitude still is also divine masculine. So we can learn that, yeah. Who else wants to share something? How are you feeling now?
I'll just share two pieces that were very significant at one point. We're in the birthing canal. I felt like the entire room, all of us, there was total stillness at one point, and nothing was moving. It just felt pure and settled and complete stillness. And then towards the end, when we were almost finished, I felt like the reflection of self-love. And that was such an unusual feeling, to feel my own love for myself, because you tend to always look for it outside of us, outside of myself. And so it was just me looking at me, which feels very selfish in some ways, yet it was so pure and real. So that was lovely.
Do you feel like you can go back to that place in a meditation or in your, you remember it?
Yeah.
That's going to be you giving to yourself what you deserve. Because yes, we have been programmed for so many generations to believe that we should not focus on ourselves, focus on each other, so it can feel self-indulgent. Just sit there adoring yourself and your own existence. But I'm telling you, it's the most powerful medicine that you can give yourself. It is soul level healing, right? When you acknowledge your own worth and just adore yourself from the inside out. Everything else unravels from that, yeah, because then you can receive. Some of you guys it's more challenging for you to receive, yeah, because we don't receive. Shani's nodding. You're like, that's exactly right. I could see that you wanted to receive, and you were trying to receive with your body, but it was this like coming up against the same block over and over again, right? We're always learning how to receive more. We're never done. Because if we were done, we would have spontaneously combusted and become stars. And then kept going and then become the sun, and then kept going and become God knows what, right? All of it. So we're learning how do we receive when we're in this density that seems to have a mind of its own sometimes, right? Heart. And if the heart field is not opening, emotion. What is the emotion getting in the way, right?
Yeah, for me, it was exactly that. I mean, the concept is clear. I saw, or I was able to go into some fractals, but it feels like on the right side, the heart there's so much on top of it that it's like as if I had to like force gratitude or force like seeing myself, and just like tiny bits went in, and then it's not really the real feeling. It's more the imagining, and I know how it kind of should feel, but it's.
I'm glad you said that. Yes, that's right. At some point or another, right, we have to take that plunge to open the heart and walk the unknown, right? Otherwise, what happens is we can enter any healing field, right? Anything. Drink 10 cups of ayahuasca, right? And you will still, if you do not want to open your heart, you will still be lying there. An experience is happening. The heart is not open. You are not taking even 20% of what you could from that experience. You're lying there, kind of semi-aware of 20, 30% of what's happening. don't have any emotional response, don't have any insight, don't have any emotional reaction, don't have any revelation, nothing changes. I can tell you, you can spend the rest of your life like that.
Mm.
At some point, you're gonna have to go into the doors that have been locked in the heart field and go, okay, this is scary as shit. This is terrifying, but can I open that door?
But for me, the question is how. It's like, because I've felt enough fear, so I'm like, how can I be even more terrified? It's like I'm there, I'm trying, and it's because I hear you, I know what you mean.
Emotion. The only time someone ever says, I am trying, but there's this, I can't get past this thing, right? Trying to go deeper, I can't get past this thing, and I can't feel it deeply enough, and I don't know what it is. And it's always emotion, unprocessed emotion. And if, like, I have a podcast called How to Recognize, how to do a practice that shows you what your predominant unprocessed emotion is, and getting to the root cause of that and going, okay, this is what I need to process and why, and this is what I need to heal and why. It's going to be an emotion. It's not going to be a physical condition, a psychological condition, an esoteric spiritual condition. I can tell you now, it's an emotion. That's what blocks you from all of your channels. Your channel of perception, right? Your channel of introspection. All your channels rely on your ability to process emotion. Your nervous system relies on that. Your energetic system relies on that. Your fluidic body relies on that. Your intuitive body relies on that. Your spiritual wisdom and your spiritual gifts rely on that. Please find the emotion and start to work at an emotional level. And yes, you're going to cry a lot. If you're doing it right, you're going to cry a lot. And it's going to be tears of God knows what, grief, sadness, bewilderment, and joy as well. And you're going to cry a lot of joy. But if you're not experiencing anything intensely, how are you going to feel anything of a high frequency intensely? So we keep ourselves in this narrow range, right? Because this is a safe zone. I don't go too far into the dark, and I also don't go too far into the light, just kind of here. But this cage is uncomfortable. So this is the work. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Do you know what emotion you are going to be working with when you do your inner child, the inner child masterclass? Do you have a sense of what emotion you feel really difficult to process and release from your heart?
At the moment, it's pure rage.
Right, and we know that this is good. Thank you for your honesty. Rage is armor. Rage is what holds us in that cage, right? And we cannot get beneath into the deeper because it's protecting us. Rages are like our best friend, protects us from going into that softer, more vulnerable, more unsure place, yeah? So if you're saying I can't get deeper and I'm kind of like, I logically know what's going on, but I can't actually feel it, and we're talking about the unprocessed emotion, like rage is going to be the perfect barrier. I have a client who's so enraged by what has happened to them, they are not able to even feel the rage. But it's there. Simone, you're nodding. Yeah, right. Do you know, like some of you have been on this journey and you have had to for your own survival. Brion is she's coming through. Can you join us, please, Brion, in the land of the living? Did you take a little bit of extra time in the birthing process? So look, rage is going to be really good one. We're going to work with rage in the inner child module. Rage is the armor that we wear to prevent us from going deeper into our hearts. And rage is valid and sacred because when you feel into rage, you start to get some of your power back. Yeah, we got to get comfortable with our anger. And it's the one emotion that actually I find people are most uncomfortable with, expressing anger. Think about that one. Okay, what's your experience been like, Brion? You've had a little while extra. You look like you were in a very deep place. Do you want to share?
Yeah, I was just going like in and out of it, really, it felt. It's interesting because in the beginning, I could hear my neighbors, my mom's neighbors, upstairs, and it started to like irritate me a little bit. And I was like, wait, no, like I'm a baby being formed, and babies can probably hear people like in their womb. And so I just started working with it a little bit. Um, there were different emotions that came up, but I really just tried to play that role of like this was the first time that I was like experiencing that. But what I was feeling in my body, like normally the emotions that would stop me from really going deeper, I just um tried not to give too much power to and just experience them as emotions. But yeah, I like was just in and out of it. Like I could hear your voice at some points and then out and then coming back. So it was interesting.
Yeah, and you've done a lot of emotional release work this week. So this is the thing, like it's a good question. What you bring up, Brion, is something really important, and it can also pose a question. To what extent, when emotion is there and it's strong, do we need to go into it? And to what extent do we just need to kind of hold space for it? And the answer is, it really depends. It depends on so many things. If you don't mind me using you as a like example, like Brion, you've shared with us that you have, you've cried a lot of tears this week. You've emotionally released a lot of what you acknowledge that you have had to suppress for your whole life, right, to stay safe. And it's all coming flooding through your body. So what I see you did today was an act of self-care, right? You've had 7 days, crying on the yoga mat and releasing all of this pain. And then you came to this session and you were like, I know those emotions. I've tasted those emotions. I've been with them. I've sat with them on my own. I've shared them. And actually now it's time for me to hold this kind of sacred, safe space around them and be like, you know what, that's okay. But if you haven't done any emotional release work and you're there going, emotion, what's an emotion? I don't have any emotions. And then you come into this session and you're like, oh yeah, I felt all these emotions, but I just kind of like, just watch them. Then I'm going to ask you, what stops you from actually feeling them? Do you see what I mean? It's context dependent. So I want you guys to be reflective of your own process. Yeah. How can you get the most out of this journey each and every session for yourself? Who else would like to share what your experience was of being in your fetal nervous system, parenting yourself, soothing yourself? How does your body feel now?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. I felt a lot of joy as the organs were forming. I was drinking a lot of like a fluid, drinking lots. I felt a lot of love during birth and after birth. Then I felt, and I was like very strong as an infant and young boy. And then I feel when the love got, the lack of love, I got thin as well. So this is beyond, and didn't gain any muscles or weight until I found my own family with the love there.
And if you take that and recognize it for what it has now taught you, that yes, you started off strong, you were building, you were, creating your own self with joy. That was your unique frequency. And then you met the world. And then it started to kind of change rapidly, right? For that little baby, the frequency difference between what you had been doing in utero and then what you found when you got on the outside is like oh, and then what that seems to have done to you is like confidence, created this kind of questioning, this uncertainty, right? So returning to that very smart kid, that very smart fetus that was in its own power over and over, even when you're an adult, returning to that frequency, it's just frequency, yeah? You might go on, you know, I'm a grandfather now, why do I want to return to that? Because it's a very, very pure frequency that you came with before you were even printed on by the world. That's all it is. Imagine you lived in that. People would be like, you can't be a grandfather, you look so young. Because you're emanating a frequency of a fetus that's building itself, right? You're in creation. Like you're going to glow like that, yeah? So when we do this work, it's not just to have an experience here for an hour and a half, it's to, that's why I always will encourage you to focus and feel it, because then you can come back to that in your own time. Because you remember what it feels like. It's a vibrational landscape and you choose where you live, right? If after this session, you want to go and you want to live in a dungeon because you're like, oh, well, the session's over. I can't access that now. Can only access that when I'm doing healing work. No, it's you and your vibration. You're going to go, wow, if I could access that then, I want more of that. I want to see where that can take me. Fields of gold, guys. Fields of gold. If you want to feel it, it's there. You're rich. Yeah. But if you don't want to feel it, if you keep resisting your own capacity to feel, you struggle to feel it. Simple. And it's what we feel is what we create. So, do you guys have any questions? We're about to on the inner child module, which I will be sharing with you tomorrow, Monday morning.
I just want to add, Safa, and for you, Womit, as well. It's exactly what you said, Safa, right now. Just, you know, I saw these golden fields, but then to receive it at all, you know, then I just had the feeling again, just, wow, it's too much here for me. I just have to leave a bit and then to step in again. So it's so typical as well for me that I know I deserve that, but it belongs as well to my deeper path, right?
And look at your posture as you're talking about it. You haven't fully, this is me and I will receive myself. You're like, and I know I kind of like can taste it a little bit. And then I do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's because like a lot of the time women have been taught this way of being in the world, like, oh, you know, you should be like, take a little bit, and then just, you know, make sure everyone else is taken care of.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want you to open up. If you can feel it, it's you. It's not external to you. There's no risk that this goes anywhere or that someone goes, hey, you sat in the golden field for like 10 minutes longer. Can you pay me like 10 minutes more now? Like, it's your vibrationary state. You got to own it, because if you're willing to own your shadow, you got to be willing to own your light. People who don't want to own their light and only want to own their shadow can't stay in that place. They can't live there long enough. We don't have to live there, but they can't stay there long enough than like 20 seconds and then they get kicked out because the shadow is calling, right? The roots are in the shadow. That's how we become strong. And the reason why we need to do the shadow work and the root work is so that when we are accessing higher and higher frequencies, we just sit still. Why? Because it doesn't move us. We know this vibration is me. Why am I phased? I'm not phased, I'm still. All I'm seeing is a mirror of myself. There's no need to get excited. There's no need to turn away. There's no need to hype it up. It is what it is. I know what I am, right? Yeah. Still. Yeah. Sometimes even when I access these fields, even when I find myself giggling with excitement and disbelief and like, holy crap, like this could not get any more ridiculously like joyful and richful and enlightening and hysterical and cosmic. I have to check myself and go, what's this all about? Do you know what I mean? Because we want to celebrate, we want to move, yeah? But we need to learn how to stay still. Because when you're doing all of that, you're showing disbelief at the frequency. You're saying, oh, I don't even believe that. Oh, wow, I'm surprised. Why am I going to be surprised by myself? This is me. And when you go into your shadow, right, and you're repulsed, then you find all this black sludge and all this, like, all your demons staring back at you and like telling you you're a terrible person, you're never going to do anything in life, like whatever. And then you start, oh my God, it must be true. Like, oh, everyone else is better than me. You know, and we start moving and we start emoting, we start layering stories. Like, can we just, if you can be in your shadow and just be still, has no power over you. It's the minute you start moving that you get played with. Yeah. No, come to know yourself as the one that undoes everything. Because you are the axis and everything is going to start revolving around you. You are the axis of the entire universe. Your midline, your center. Yeah. Stay there and let the world revolve around you. Because really, there is only you. I know we think that we're in a group program, but really there is only you. Everyone is here for you. Get your heart around that. Because your head will never get around that. Trust me, I've tried. I've driven myself mad. Only the heart knows. Feel it. Every single person's heart in this room is here for you. Because we're all in one field, chatting away. It's bonkers. More of this to come in our sacred somatic modules. Okay, wonderful. So that was this is rich. Watch it back, especially if you're like, okay, I want a bit more of that. Watch it back. See how your body feels, right? Get out of your head and get into your body and get into your heart and start feeling. And if you can't feel, process your unprocessed pain. This is what you're here to do. Make use of every single day that you're here in Womb Room, where you can get support, yeah? Bring the blocks to the table, because we'll cut them all up and we'll turn them to stardust together. If you never bring your blocks to the table, like some of you have not brought in I have no idea what you've been processing through the ancestral alchemy module. I'm not going to name names, but I am just going to say that. Some of you, I know, like the in-depths of your entire family structure, history, what you've dealt with, what you've healed. So each module is going to resonate with you in different ways. Bring it in, right? Because then you can get support. If you don't bring anything in and you stay on the sidelines, you're going to wonder, this journey is going to pass you by and you're going to go, what exactly happened? You know? And this is how we have to learn how to be involved in our own lives. Because life is here. We have to learn how to be in life. And that's not easy. Think about that one. Being in life. That's one for maybe a little bit later. We're going to talk about what it means to be in life. Yeah. That's how you're going to feel alive. For now, nurture your little baby bodies. Your fetal nervous systems are now much clearer. You might want to take some time to lie down and tune into your spine and just soothe anything that is rumbling, anything that is left. Some of you have got emotions that you need to release, and have a good cry. Have a good cry. It's very purifying. Yeah. And I'll see you very soon. We've got the next session, which is a cacao ceremony. I'm very much looking forward to that. Please, can you buy some cacao for yourself? Cacao is available everywhere these days. You only need a little bit. If you prefer not cacao, you can have hot chocolate. You can have chamomile tea. You can have oolong tea. You can have whatever tea you want, just not a beer. So let's say cacao if you'd like to, a hot drink. It would be wonderful if you all did manage to get hold of some cacao, so we can kind of be in a similar space and we can work with the spirit of cacao, which is a very beautiful plant teacher, teaches through the heart field. And we're going to be sharing letters. We're going to be reading and writing letters. Well, you
Oh.
are.
But we have 2 or 3 other sessions before, no? I think we're like the soul ceremony and playground.
Oh, do you know my schedule better than me? Thank God for that.
Just I
If
think
someone knows
what
what's going on around here. Why was I looking? I was looking today. I was like, oh, we're gonna have a cow ceremony.
I mean, I'm looking forward to having chocolate as well, but I think it's gonna take a little longer. No?
Yes, we've got
Art
oh, yeah,
of the
you're right. On the
Soul.
11th, you're right, Pat. Thank you so much.
Playground, and then on the 25th, I
Yes.
say chocolate.
That's right. We've got, thank you, Pat. We've got playground first, playground inner child healing session, much like this, very joyful. So please do the work to meet your emotions and be honest in this group about, you know, the emotions that you're processing. When you share yourself, you help other people to heal. And then we're going to go into inner child, which is a field of ecstatic joy. You're not going to be able to feel ecstatic joy if you have not processed your grief and anger. Do you know what I mean? You're not. So everything here is going to feel lukewarm instead of like blowing your world apart in a good way. We don't want to do lukewarm, yeah? We've set a fire. We want to feel it. I do anyway. Okay. Thank you all so much. I love you all. Please have relaxing days, evenings, nights, and stay connected in the group, and we'll see each other soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.